Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. Figured I'd try something a little bit different today. I cleaned out my garage like 6 months ago or so, and I found my old comic books from when I was growing up way back in the 1990s. So I figured it'd be kind of cool to open them up and see how much money they're worth. I'm not going to sell them. I'm just kind of curious. If I wanted to sell them, if I was desperate, how much money could I get for those comic books? So come on, let's go to my garage. Hey Jet, you gonna go to the garage with me? What do you got? Where's that?
Anyway, I ran out because...
Hey, why do you have crappy grades?
Stop! Get out!
What are you working on right now? Summer, why are you not working on your schoolwork?
I just finished it!
For both classes that you got bad grades in?
Yes.
Finishing your sentences.
Alright, welcome to my garage. This is where I do my working out. There's the treadmill, there's some Christmas stuff. But we're looking for my comic books today, and I'm pretty sure I left them in here somewhere. Another cool thing I found here while I was digging through my stuff is this comic book that I made for me and Lacey's wedding. Everybody that went to our wedding got one of these comic books. These are very rare. You can't have one because they're very rare. Probably not worth anything though, because nobody even knows about them. Alright, so this one is just labeled Steven. Looks like, is this the one? No, this is, oh wait, yeah, this is the one. I think we found it. All right, so as you guys can see, I've got like a tub of just stuff here, and this is all stuff that I collected from the 90s, like over the years. It's just stuff that I wanted to keep, that I had with me. I used to have like 5 long boxes of comics, like a whole bunch of them that I had collected from over the years, maybe even more than 5. And I went through those because I didn't need them anymore because I didn't really read them. And I picked out the ones that either meant something to me or I wanted to keep or I thought might be worth something. And I ended up putting them all in this tub. And then I sold my entire teenage collection of comic books for about $50. They were going to give me 40 for them. But I brought in my little niece and she was like 6 or 7 years old at the time. And I think they thought I was like a hard on my luck single dad, and decided to give me $10 extra. They were going to give me 40 and they gave me 50 instead. So anyways, let's go ahead and see what's in this thing. Number one, it's a name tag from Kinko's. I used to work there when I was like 19. All right, here we go. Every teenager from like the 90s, the early 90s had one of these in his collection. XForce #1. Look at that, it's still in the bag. I'm kind of curious. I want to find out how much all this stuff is worth. So we're going to go ahead and start things off. We're going to look up XForce #1. Okay, so this doesn't really seem right because like this in pristine condition, which this is in good condition, still in the bag, is worth $70. But then I see people on eBay selling this for like $3. So I don't really think this is worth all that much. All right, we got XMen #1, but this is not just any XMen #1. This one is autographed up here, and you see he's got a little picture right here of Jim Lee, the guy who made this, who drew it anyways, and then left Marvel afterwards. So look, man, this was like at the time one of the largest selling comic books of all time. Again, every kid my age had this in their comic book collection. This was the biggest seller. Let's see how much it's worth these days, and it's not just the regular copy. It's got the Jim Lee autograph. I remember paying like $25 for this. I like begged my dad, so my dad paid money for it. I was like, Dad, come on, man, this is gonna be worth money. Look, how can it not be worth money? It's autographed and it's got a picture of the dude. Okay, so they have this on Amazon. You can get this on Amazon for a whopping $13. So this is worth half of what I paid for it. That's great. So like Dark Heroes were all the rage back in like 1990, 1991. And so Marvel came out with this guy, Dark Hawk. Look at this generic shitty, like what is this right here? He's got like wings or something. He's got like a weak ass Wolverine wannabe claw right here. Let's see how much Dark Hawk #1 is worth. Dark Hawk #1. This right here is worth all of, according to GoCollectComics.com, whoa! This like pristine copy of #1 of Dark Hawk goes for $250. It's in pretty good shape. at like in like decent shape, this is like 40 bucks. Look at that. I've also got Darkhawk #2. And you know what's great about this is that #1 probably sold for shit. They're like, hey, we got to boost these numbers, so let's put friggin' Spider-Man in this comic. Look at him, little tiny Spider-Man right there. He's like, oh, he'll help boost sales. Hey, that worked. #3, let's make it all about Spider-Man. What the hell, Darkhawk? You can't even hold down your own comic? Guest starring, yeah, starring Spider-Man, guest starring this idiot. Anyways. Let's see here. Oh yeah, look at this. Another copy of X-Force #1. This isn't that one that I just pulled out. No, this is a different one. This one's got, who is that? Sunspot and Gideon, whoever these guys are, as the card in here. Everybody bought like a ton of these, and that's why they're not worth anything. Okay, so after the guy who made this, Rob Liefeld, after he left Marvel Comics, he went and started his own shit. And part of that own shit was making a bunch of crappy characters, one of which is called Prophet. Here's Prophet #1. Now, in the last 10 years or so, they actually went back and revisited this character with like a good writer and a good artist. And from what I recall, it was pretty good. People kind of liked it. But this back here, look at how generic this shitty character is. Back then, they were just shitting out all these like crappy clones of Rob Liefeld creations. Look at it. He's got just a generic purple outfit, some golden gauntlets, some weak-ass swords, some piping on his shoulder because that's necessary, and then whatever the hell this diaper is on his face right here. Let's see how much Prophet #1 is worth right now. Probably not a whole lot. All right, let's see what kind of action is getting on eBay. This right here you can pick up on eBay right now for $3. Crap. I love this comic. I thought this was great, and it's still going on today. Probably the most impressive run from a creator-owned comic in the history of comics. I think he's up to like number 250 or 300 or something like that. The Savage Dragon. This is #2. I thought I had #1 around here somewhere. Evidently not. But there's #2. Sometimes #2, if #2 doesn't sell as much, #2 rarely sells as much as #1. And so usually, sometimes those actually are worth a bunch of money. Here we go. Savage Dragon #2, first printing value. This you can get on eBay right now for a grand total of $3. That's not worth anything. Let's see here. This was one of my favorite dudes back in the day. Lobo. This is the sequel comic to his like first comic. The artwork in here was absolutely great though. Simon Bisley, one of my favorite comic book artists of all time. And this is the kind of comic that I'd have to like hide from my parents. I don't even know if they'd care or not. But look at the artwork in there. Look at how disgustingly brutal that is. Look at that. There's eyeballs and like a dude's jaw. And just, it's like something at a Dahmer's kitchen right there. That's disgusting. So I had to like hide this from my parents. Lobo is great though. Look at this. What was Dirty Steve doing with this? The Homage Studio swimsuit special. Look at the booty right here. This was $1.95. This came out probably like 93 or something like that. This friggin' 13-year-old spank comic book. That they did. So it was like, this is the Jim Lee, who was on X-Men, left to do his own stuff, Wildcats. And then they would do these like swimsuit editions with all the characters coming out of the studio that he created. I wonder how much this is worth. Oh wow, you can get this on eBay right now. Pristine. This is really good condition too. You can get this on eBay right here for $1. Not even that, 99 cents. Oh, here we go. This is great. This was the guy, y'all know this comic right here. Spawn #1. This is actually in really good shape right here. There's like a little bit, it's like a little bit of like smudge right here on this, on the spine going down. But this was the shit back in the day. This is Todd McFarlane. This after he left Spider-Man. This is what everybody got. This was like, I think it still probably holds the record for like one of the biggest selling comics of all time. This sold absolutely crazy amounts of comics. This just reached also like its 300th issue in print, like, I don't know, about a year ago or so, which is pretty impressive for a creator-owned book. I think at this point it has like the record for the longest run on of a creator-owned book, even though McFarlane, you know, he took some time off. He only drew like the first couple dozen, I think, maybe issues, and then he passed it off a bunch of times. But still, I got this. I got like the first big batch of comics here, like the first 8 issues. Let's see how much Spawn #1 is worth these days. What do I got in my collection? Spawn #1. A pristine copy of this goes for $140. This right here probably goes to closer to like $40. So I could probably get $40 for that, but not bad considering it's like the biggest selling comic of all time. I mentioned his name before, Rob Liefeld. This was his first comic out the gate, the very first Image comic book. Here it is, Youngblood #1. This was the shit back in the day. The problem with these comics, though, the problem with all these Rob Liefeld comics, even like the Jim Lee ones, Spawn was pretty decent. Spawn was okay. It was kind of convoluted, but at least he was doing some interesting stuff there. This was pure bullshit. Like, the artwork is really fun. It's really, really fun to look at. As a kid, it was like, you know, very inspiring. See, every kid you knew who was into comic books back in like 93 that was drawing comics would like draw like this. You know, like nobody would draw their feet or anything like that. There's like no backgrounds going on. But it's got an energy about it. Rob Liefeld always had like a really great energy about his stuff. It's just there was no story to it. It was complete and total bullshit, which is why I preferred crap like this. Superman. Now, this isn't worth a dick. And look, it's even cheesy too because they're totally ripping off. Like, this is what, 1991. So at this point, all those X-Force books had come out. And look, I got another one in here too. This one doesn't have the bag. So like this had come out probably like 1990 or so. When did this drop? And okay, so this came out in August of 91. So this actually preceded it by a bit. But there were still, like, they had already got, like, Marvel had already sort of pioneered the big patch, big gun, cyborg looking guy. So it kind of feels like DC was just sort of ripping him off a little bit by having this dude, like, try to take down Superman here who was bouncing through time. But at least the stories in here were actually pretty good. Like, they told the whole linear story, like, that spanned years. And it was like a soap opera. It was intriguing stuff. Like, I could understand the characters and their motivations and ambitions and stuff. This was like just a bunch of bullshit that looked pretty. But so that's why I was really into this stuff. But don't get me wrong, like, hey, it looked pretty. I really liked it. It sold like a shit ton. Tons of people liked it. Couldn't tell you what the stories were about. I don't know who any of these characters are. I know this guy's name is Badrock. He's like the one guy who I think I remember he had some personality. But otherwise, like, they look cool. Bunch of bullshit, though. Yeah, here's an out-of-bag X-Force. Again, like I said, everybody just open those up. Here is the greatest comic book, in my estimation, of all time. It's the greatest comic book run, my favorite comic book run of all time. Justice League International. This ran from like 1987 to like 1991 or so. And it is one of the best runs, one of my favorite runs of comic books ever. They sort of took like kind of a comedic approach. They populated it. It kind of had the humor of like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, except it was DC instead of Marvel. And it was like a bunch of B-list superheroes that were, you know, reformed the Justice League. There was like no Superman. I think Batman was in it a little bit. But it was just hilarious. It still holds up, way ahead of its time. This was the shit back in the day. This was my stuff back in the day. Because again, for me, it was all about the characters. Let's see here. You guys will recognize this one if you're into the Marvel stuff. Infinity Gauntlet #1 and #2 right there. This, of course, is what they loosely based Infinity War and Endgame on, the Infinity Gauntlet. Let's see how much this is worth. I remember this was like the cool shit back in the day. So a pristine copy of this evidently goes for $130. You could get it for that or sell it for that or something. But then if you go down the list, like this is in good shape, or it was. All right, here's one. Fantastic Four #1, not the original one. This was from 1996. Jim Lee, who had left Marvel from the XMen to do his own stuff, Wildcats, which I thought I had at some point too, but maybe not now, came back at a certain point, like in 96, to basically redesign the Fantastic Four. $40. This one pisses me off because check it out. Walking Dead #64. This is not worth anything. It's not even in a bag. Don't really care about it. Great comic book. Love The Walking Dead. Really fantastic. I had #1. I had #1 of this. I don't know what happened to it, and I'm pretty sure Walking Dead #1 first print. Let's see. Value. Let's see how much that's worth. Oh, man. See? Damn it. If I had kept that in pristine condition, the very first issue of Walking Dead, the very first one of these, is worth $2,000. Even in decent condition, it's worth like $700. I had it too, man. I freaking had it. This is a little bit more obscure. I don't even know when this is from. Fool Killer. I don't really know anything about this. I probably read these. I've got like a bunch of them. Look, I've got up to number 7 of this guy. So many fools, so little time. And he's sitting on like a bunch of skulls here. So this guy's a bad dude right here. It says part 1 of 10. Let's see how much Fool Killer number 1 is worth. About $2. $2. There's Fool Killer. Oh, look at that. Wait. It says first kill. It took an issue, but he finally got a kill. He killed the fool. And then, oh, screw this mask. It's so hot in here. And then look, this guy, he's blasting a hole in some guy. Mind you, this is like, for kids, it's like approved by the comics code. So like kids could totally buy it. He's blasting a hole through a guy. Oh God, look at this. By issue 5, he is basically like a bondage guy. He's like a gimp, like from Pulp Fiction. But he's got a gun, and he's burning a man alive. Again, this is approved by the comics code. It says body count. I burned a man alive. Fool Killer. And then here, oh, look at that. That must be his MO, because he just keeps on burning people alive. Look at that guy. This poor bastard right here. He's getting burned too. And then he's just sad about it. He's like, oh, I burned so many people. I killed too many fools. Look at this guy. Sleepwalker. He can't fall asleep, so he sleepwalks, or he goes to sleep and then he wakes up and he's like in an alley somewhere. Look at this guy though. I don't know what his power is. He sort of shoots his face at this guy right here, who's getting wrapped up in some shit. This salesman back here is freaking out about it. What does it say? Marvel's newest superhero, evildoer's worst nightmare. So he's like a Freddy Krueger guy. Let's see how much this is worth. All right, so evidently, according to the GoCollect.com, who knows if this is true or not, fair market value for number 1 of this, in pristine conditions, $110. This is, however, not probably in pristine condition. There's a little fold right here. Probably closer to like $20. So here's number 1. Number 2, look at that. He's like fighting a pool shark. 8-ball. Oh God, look at that. I can't even handle a dude named 8-ball. He's got an 8-ball on his head in a pool cue. And he's using the pool cue, evidently, to shoot a telephone booth at Sleepwalker. Look at it. 8-ball's even taking up his little corner box there. On the third issue, they're like, 8-ball wasn't selling shit. So, like, we bringing Wolverine, the Avengers, some XMen there. It's a Cub Scout book. It's a hand guide on how to be a good Cub Scout. I should do a reaction video of this. Look at this. This freaking bear. Look at Coach Bear. He's like, hey, kids. Roar. So a friendo sent this here, and I was kind of curious how much it was worth. It's from 1969. It's in beat-up shape. But a friendo sent this and said, hey, Steve, you collect comics. You might like this. Submariner, number 18. Namor, the Submariner. Look at it. He's washed up on the beach, and he's like, I can't breathe because I'm not in the water. And this freaking hippie right here with his guitar on the beach with his old lady. And then what's this guy doing right here? Look at that. Mr. No Ass is looking back at him saying, fuck you, Namor. Let's see how much this is worth. Not that I'd sell it, but it's always good to know what you have on you. You know, here we go. Let's see here. Number 18. Yeah, okay, it's being sold in very fine shape on eBay for $35, so it probably isn't worth much, but it's worth a lot right here because somebody sent it to me out of appreciation. This is probably the priciest thing I have. It's really not even that impressive, but it is the first appearance of Gambit in the X-Men. Of course, this probably would be worth a bit more if he actually had that Channing Tatum movie come out about Gambit, but it kept on getting shelved and never happened. He'll probably end up in the Marvel, in the MCU, now that they have the X-Men guys. And he was a super popular character in the 90s. Y'all probably remember him from like the animated series, or if you bought the comics. I mean, everybody knows Gambit, right? Anyways, this is his very first appearance. X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 266. Let's see how much that one's worth. There we go. Value. All right, so a pristine copy of this currently sells for, holy shit, $500. These aren't worth shit, but they're worth something to me. And you can get your hands on them too. Right now, my comics are on sale at mfshophere.com. I made comic books back when I was in my 20s, a long time ago. but I was a shitty businessman, so now I'm trying to make up for that by selling them online. mfshophere.com. I'll throw in like a little, got like little posters made for them, little pinups, and I'll put some stickers in there for you too, and I'll sign them for you if you want. A little piece of Steve right here. So go to mfshophere.com if you want to help support this channel. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Be sure to hit that sub button, and I'll be back next time with another video. Bye-bye, everybody.